Oh, hi, Rob. How are you?
Good, Tony. How are you?
Yeah, fantastic. What I'd like to cover, I'd like to ask you about today is more about your coaching career than your actual playing career. But just to get started, just tell us a few of the highlights from your sort of long playing career.
Started very early, really. Yeah. The main highlight is the making the debut against Wickham for Stockport when I was 23. That's the main highlight. Didn't expect to play. I was told an hour beforehand, which is sometimes ideal, sometimes not great, but it was okay. So that's the main highlight. Thankfully and unfortunately for me, I've won a few things along the way. Sheffield Wednesday, obviously got promoted to the Championship as captain, boyhood club. So that was a massive highlight for me.
Mm.
Cup final at the Hibs, winning the cup final, scoring the first goal as captain again is an enormous feat because these are the things you dream about when you're a kid. And then obviously the Doncaster situation where obviously Dean left in the January. I took over with Brian Flynn, and we managed to win the league on the last day of the season against Brentford away, which the picture behind alludes to.
So, so was that the Brentford had a penalty on it? Just talk us through that because that was unbelievable set of circumstances, wasn't it?
Well, Big Jim McComb took the head off. I think it was Diakara or something like that in our box, and the referee gave a penalty. It was a big fight. I think people have seen the images of it between the captain and the centre forward at that time. Centre forward won, hit the bar, cleared down the other end. Billy Painter picked it up a halfway line, ran 2/3, and then passed it to James Coppinger, who was free in the box. He put it in the net, and that allowed us to actually to win the league. We needed a point to get promoted, but I think Bournemouth drew with Preston away, which allowed us to leapfrog them on the final day and win the league. Which is
So you went from third to first in that one couple of minutes of action down at Brentford. Is that right?
No, we were second at the time, and Brentford were third.
Ah, that's right. That's right. I'm with you now. Yeah, yeah.
Whoever won that game would have got automatic promotion, really. So
Oh, wow.
There was a lot riding on it, but the day couldn't have gone any better for us, really, apart from the penalty. It went as planned. The whole week had been planned for that one day, and it went as well as we could have expected and would have liked, really.
Good, great stuff. And when did you actually formally announce you'd hung your boots up for the last time as a professional footballer?
I think leading up to it, I knew I was done. I'd already crossed over that line into the coaching side of it, and that then became my passion. That then became my first thought and first aim. And I was getting older. Injuries were coming more readily and thick and fast, and it was becoming more difficult to try and get rid of little niggles and the such. And when you get to that point, I think the fun goes out of it and the excitement goes out of it because it's just one hurdle after another, and you cannot get a run in a team. You cannot train like you want to. At that point, I was still not training twice a week when I was fully fit, just to try and recover. And I think your mind then wanders onto things you want to do next and what you want to achieve next. And obviously, I'd had a lot of build up with that. Obviously, I did the 23s with Doncaster. We finished runners up the season before I went to Hartlepool. I'd obviously had the player manager role at Doncaster. I had the second time I had the caretaker spell. So I had a taste of what I wanted, and it was something that I was pushing myself towards the end of my career.
But just taking you back a step a little bit further back, when was your first coaching experience? When did you first be in charge of a younger group of players, and where were you and what happened then?
It was when I went to Grimsby.
Right.
So that
when would that be?
That was 2004. I
Wow.
took the under 12s. So as long as right from my playing, I coached at whatever age group that was. So it started at Grimsby. I think I was trying to do me B lice to that point. Excuse me. But I was I think, a coach twice a week. I think it was a Wednesday and a Thursday, and you took the game on a Sunday, which was strenuous at times because obviously you have to play alongside that too. So from Grimsby, I did that for a year. Left there, went up to Hibs. That's when I started my coaching badges. When I went to Hibs.
You did your badges in Scotland then? So you did all of them in Scotland, or had you done a couple beforehand?
No, I did them all in Scotland. I was living there at the time, so it just seemed fair and right to do them in Scotland. I could travel to the education department from my house in Scotland, so there was no need to come back down to England. And because I did the first one in Scotland, I've continued to do them all. I like the way they do it up there. I get along with the people very well. It's always a good group and a good mix when I do go up there. I've only got my pro license to do, so I will return up to Scotland possibly in January to do that, with a bit of hope and a bit of luck.
Yeah, so you're looking to do your pro license. That's the only one really remaining for you to do.
That's the only one left. I am, to be fair, I'm contradicting myself because I'm trying to get on the diploma, the football management diploma, over in Liverpool at this present moment in time. But obviously, with the world being the way the world is, it's nigh impossible. That should have started a month and a half ago. But that's been put on the back burner.
So really, you've been coaching since 2005 at Grimsby, then a spell up at Hibs, and while playing, doing some of the younger age groups at every club you've been at. Is that right?
Yeah. Every club I've been at, I've coached. Sheffield Wednesday, I had the 14s on a Thursday, but that was only a 2-hour coaching session. At that point, there was too much going on. I was living away from home, so the Sundays I couldn't really commit to a Sunday on that point of view. But I was coaching there. Doncaster, I started coaching a little bit with the 18s, and then I obviously got the 23s job alongside playing. That went really well. Played a few games with the younger ones, which is, I think it was good for the younger kids coming through with an older head next to them, especially centre half. I was quite successful there, to be fair. I think I got 9 through in my first year to make their debuts in the first team, which is not a bad number from where you were at.
No, I seem to remember at Doncaster at that time you were getting a lot of youngsters in that first team group, weren't you? And obviously you were working with some of the under 23s and some of the 18s as well. But Rob, tell us a little bit more about, because I don't think, to use the Michael Caine sort of quote, not a lot of people know that what your role was at Doncaster at one point, because you were almost a manager without the title at one stage.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when Dean left, I knew Dean was going, and I knew Dean had spoken to the chairman about me taking over in the interim period. I spoke to Mr. Ryan, who was in charge at the time, and it was decided that yes, I would do it alongside Brian Flynn. Brian Flynn was the head of recruitment, chief scout, however you want to put it, who Dean brought in, and basically, for a better word, I was Unit 20s coach, 23s coach. I was a first team manager. I was a captain at the time, and Monday morning, basically, it was Monday morning meeting with the staff. I would say what I wanted that week, training wise. They would follow out what I wanted that training wise. If I wasn't happy with what was going on in training, I would stop it and change it. But it was just something that it flowed really well. I think that the biggest thing from John Ryan, I think, because I was a captain at the time, because we were pushing for promotion at that time, I think he tried to take as much pressure off me as possible. And via the questions and the incidents another direction, which really helped and allowed me to focus on, one, make sure the players were ready for that Saturday or the Tuesday, whatever it was, and make sure pivotally that I was ready. There's nothing worse than you telling other people what to do when you're not doing your job yourself. Yeah,
but you were doing more or less 3 roles at that time. That must have been difficult for you. Was that, you were first in, last out?
People have asked me this question many times, and I didn't find it difficult. I didn't find it strenuous, and I didn't find it tiring. I just found it normal, and it just flowed. And for whatever reason, the biggest reason, you've got a good dressing room there. That's one of the main influences on it. And obviously, I was a captain, so I was someone who they looked up to anyway. And instead of Dean making the decisions about who's playing, who's not playing, the formations, all that sort of stuff, it became down to me. And I think I spoke to a teammate about 3 or 4 weeks ago. He said you coached us on the pitch anyway, so it wasn't as if it was a new voice. As the game went by, I would dictate to how we played and what we would do and positions of different people. So it wasn't as if it was a brand new thing to everybody. It's something that at that point they were all quite attached to anyway.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, obviously, I know some of the players who were in that dressing room, and the likes of Cops, you know, a club regular, a club legend. I mean, I don't think there's many players who've been at a club that long, is there? You know?
No, he was brilliant, and he was one that you could bounce ideas off and pick his brains and whatnot. Obviously, he's just signed a new 1-year deal, so that's taken to 42, I think.
He signed the 1-year deal, has he? I didn't.
Yeah,
Right.
So he's just stated that that's his final year. Whether that.
Oh, really?
That for sure, I don't know, but no, you don't stay at a football club that long if your heart's not in it and you're not wanted and you don't love it, which he truly does. But no, he was great, and to be fair, he was on loan at Notts Forest when I first took over, and he came back. I think it was 3 weeks into my tenure there as the interim manager. And he made a massive difference, massive difference, not just to me, but to the players around him. And he was one of the main reasons we kicked on at that point. It was like having a new player.
Great. And so, Rob, you retired, you left Hartlepool, what was it, 3 years ago, was it?
Yeah.
And then a job came out of the blue for you down at Riasa. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that came about the job itself?
The job itself, I think it was on LinkedIn. I think it was yourself who passed it on to me. I think I was on the way back down from the Advanced Youth Award because at that point I was looking to get into maybe 16s, 18s at a football club, and I knew you at the higher echelons of the academies, you need to have that award, and I was away doing that on my own back. So it was just something that excited me at that point. You get to travel the world, you get to coach all over the world, you get to coach players and try and get them back into some sort of professional environment or push them on as high as you possibly can. And I think it resonated with me a little bit because I came in late to football, and I worked so hard to come in late to come in and stay in. It was possibly my way of giving back a little bit and saying, right, I've got all this experience of how hard it is to get to that point and be fruitful within that point. It's time for me now to hand back and give over my knowledge and expertise to others. And I think that's why I coach. I don't coach because Rob George should be a coach. I think I coach because, yes, I'm passionate about it, but at the be on the end all, I coach because I want those people that I coach to be fruitful in what they do, and I want them to have the possibilities and the opportunities that I had. Because being a footballer, it's just a fantastic world. There's nothing better. And if I can influence a player at some point that in the future becomes a professional footballer and fulfills his dreams, then that's all the gratitude I need and I would want.
Yeah, and Rob, you know, as a player, obviously centre half, you know, very strong in the air, and you know, quite uncompromising at times, I would say. But how would you describe your coaching style? Because it ain't like that, is it?
No, and I didn't expect it to be either. I thought when I started playing early on, it was all about getting in a good defensive shape, good defensive unit, be big, be strong, be aggressive, be attacking. But it's quite to the contrary. I want us to get the ball down. I want us to play. I want to be. I like the 4-3-3. I like the 4-2-3-1. I like the 4-1-4-1. I like the intermingle of players, as long as it stays in that structure. I hate 4-4-2. I hate 3-5-2. I want to play fast, attractive football, and I want all my players that play to be comfortable on the ball, take it in tight areas. I want them to have a freedom and be relaxed about where they are on the pitch and what I want them to do. And the first year we also went really well. We won 2 league titles. The players were playing some sensational football. Omar Damba Obviously, we know Omar really well. We took him to Sheffield Wednesday, and he signed a deal at Sheffield Wednesday with 23, which was fantastic. A place where he should really have prospered, but that's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
But no, from a central defender's point of view, it's completely different. I want to attack. As long as there's an understanding and a know-how to defend properly, that's how I want to play. But I want to play thirds.
I mean, I sort of I know obviously one of the people that you look up to. Well, saying that, you don't look up to many people. Excuse the joke, but one of the people is and I obviously look up to is Tony Mowbray, and Tony probably obviously you get on well with Tony, and Tony was that central defender, and he plays a certain brand of football. Is that something that's come from Tony, or has he helped you in that?
Subconsciously maybe, but I've had some really good managers over my time, Tony being one of them.
Yeah.
Dean was a different kind of manager, sprightly, energetic, chaotic at times. But
he'll thank you for that. Chaotic.
He wanted to play his brand in his way. I think, you take bits out of managers, don't you? You don't take all of them. Obviously, Gary Megson was completely different, fantastic manager. We just gelled right from the very word go because we were probably from the same page. He liked his structure, he liked his plan, he liked his players to defend properly, players to defend with their lives, and the centre forwards to look after themselves. I think as you go on your coaching pathway, you take little bits from different people, and if they fit into how you want to do things, then you keep hold of them. If they don't fit, then you've got to tweak them and try and move them around a little bit. But you also see bits where you think, I'll never do that when I'm a manager. And there's a few managers I've had which I will never, ever take anything from them. But that's just the way I'm made, and that's the way I think. But you can look at them. Russell Slade again. I spoke to him not too long ago the other day. He was a brilliant man manager. He really sent me on my way, really. At my second year at Grimsby, which really I shouldn't have got a second year, and second year couldn't have gone any better. So his man management style was brilliant. I'm not as outgoing as him. I'm a bit old schoolish management wise, but I do know when to put my arm around a player and that sort of stuff. So that has developed as I've gone along, because like we said a bit earlier, I've been coaching now for a long time at every different level, be it first team or under 12s. So you get to understand the different mannerisms and the characters, and understand what individuals do need and don't need. And inevitably, when you get to the first team, it's about winning games, but it's about more than winning games. It is about more than just winning games. You've got to have these players playing for you and with you, and together as a group, as a whole, with a structure and a plan. Like I said, when I played, I was the coach on the pitch. I think sometimes now you've got to realise you can't be that guy on the sideline and just barks and barks and barks all the time, because you've got to allow these players to express themselves. And if you've got someone shouting at you all the time, it doesn't help. I think it's a hindrance more than a help. So I've evolved as a coach over the 16, 17 years that I've been coaching, and I'm at a point now where I feel I could benefit a football club, be whatever level that may be.
Yeah. Rob, if you went into a football club tomorrow, would you have you got the people lined up that you'd bring in, somebody to help you and in different areas of the club as well? Have you got that sort of backroom staff set up or people in mind? I mean, obviously, with the times like they are now, you can't expect to go in and get everything you want. It might be just you on your own. But if you did have an opportunity to bring a couple of people in, and I don't want you to mention names, but are you a manager in waiting with all that sort of backup done?
No, I think I do know who I would bring with me. But like you said there, the environment that we live in at the moment might not cater for that. But yeah. I feel I'm a big enough character to go in and work with the staff that are already there. I know exactly what I want. I know how I want it done. And on the flip side of that, I listen to people. I have this facade that the big bald head, the broken nose, the scars all over his face. He's just one of these guys who just does what he wants. I'm not like that. I listen to people. I embrace people. I'll chat football like I'm doing now all day long. I have my opinions, but I also will listen to other people's opinions and other people's opinions that if I feel they're valuable to me and what I'm doing, then I'll take them on.
Yeah.
So I'm not a dictator in any slant. I was a lunatic when I played, but I'm a completely different character when I'm a coach.
So would you know, what sort of level? Obviously, I know you said to the Sheffield Star you put in for the Barrow job, and that's now gone. But would you consider, you know, what sort of level are you looking at? Would you consider a club in Scotland where obviously you had a really good time on the pitch and off the pitch, you know, a good life in Scotland? Would you consider the National League, League Two? What are your sort of expectations? What are you sort of looking for your next step? You know, if you were to get offered that, you know, that role, what would you be looking at?
I think the be all and end all. It's without saying what league and whatnot. Yeah, yes. Would I entertain going to Scotland? Of course I would. I had a fantastic 3 years up there. I've got a lot of friends up there, and know a lot of football up there, know a lot of the football people up there. So it would be probably an easy move up there. But also it would be easy in England too, because I've been back down here for now just over 10 years. So for me, as long as the club that I would be going to are as enthusiastic and forward thinking as I am, then I think it would marry really well. I'm not going to stay, I will not do that, and I won't go there, and I won't go that level, because at the end of the day, I want to be a coach and I want to be a manager. So whatever level that is, I'm quite comfortable with, because I know that I'll back myself all day long. I will be successful as a manager. I know I will. It's getting that first opportunity and that first chance when it comes along. But I say here, first opportunity, first chance. But I've already had it, and I won League One and I got promoted to the Championship. So I've already had that experience. Yeah. I think sometimes people forget the fact that because I was playing at the time, it's a bit overshadowed and overcast, but I've already had that experience. I've already run dressing rooms. I've already run football clubs. So for me, it wouldn't be the first one, and it's not a gamble. The thing for me is, and the positive thing for me is, I'm a better coach now than I was then.
Yeah,
I know far more now than I did then, and I know far more people now than I did back.
You're looking to really, you know, crack on with your pro license, because that, you know, that's the last thing you've got to do, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but the pro license is not, you must do it. The pro license, I actually want to do it. Yeah. I think some people, they do it because they have to do it. I actually want to do it. Every course that I've been on has influenced me in a positive way, and I'm sure the pro license will be no different. But I want to do it, and with the world being as it is at the moment, it's quite difficult. But hopefully, I'll get that done on it as soon as I possibly can, because that also opens doors for you that otherwise doesn't. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just on, you know, we are all going through tough times. What have you been doing outside of, you know, when we've been in lockdown? What have you been enjoying, you know, away from football type of thing?
I've enjoyed having time with kids. I think people forget that when you're in football. I've been in football now for 20 years. It's just all encompassing. I lived away for probably 6 of those years, and was home 3 days a week, away 4 days a week. So you get to miss things that you'll never ever replace. But it's been nice to be home. Homeschooling wasn't great. I didn't like that.
I don't think anyone likes homeschooling.
No, but no, I've actually got my head down the last probably 5-6 weeks. I've got my head down and did a lot of online courses, which again benefits me.
Superb.
I've started doing a few little bits of one-to-ones with my 2 little boys. Get back on the grass, because I've missed it. I really have missed it. I'm not really a one-to-one coach. I'm more a getting the team ready for the weekend coach. That's my drive. That's my probably my drug, if you like.
Actually, I was just speaking to Guy Poa yesterday, and he was talking, because obviously you can tell us a little bit about the tour of Scotland that the French free agents had, because that was quite an experience for us both, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, very different and out your comfort zone. You've got what I think it was 20 French players. Couldn't really speak much English.
Well, we don't speak much French either.
Yeah, no French whatsoever. so it was more hand gestures than anything else. But no, it was brilliant. It was really good. Really entertaining.
Yeah.
Then,
And obviously one of the lads did well out of that.
yeah, a great test for the players. A great test for me as a young coach looking to move forward, because I think
Yeah.
we won 2 out of 3 games. We drew 1 and won 2, and
Yeah.
that's not bad for a coach who can't speak French.
No, would you consider going further afield? You know, I spoke about the English leagues and Scotland. Would you consider going somewhere, you know, exotic or further afield or whatever?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as that, again, like what I said before, as long as the both parties fit together, then I'm very open. Obviously, I've coached in America, I've coached in Dubai, Slovenia, Latvia. So I've coached in different places. I've coached over in Iceland. So lots of different places that throw up different problems, and you have got to create solutions for them. So I've coached in many different places, but I've been on a journey, and that's probably the best way of putting it. There's been a coaching journey without having probably the accolade of being a manager, if you know what I'm saying.